Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Not by people, but by something greater, something divine? Maybe it was that one moment, so quiet, so strange. It gave you goosebumps, a flash in a dream, a whisper in your mind, a number that keeps repeating, something trying to reach you, but no one else notices. You chalked it up to coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if the pain you've been through, the questions that haunted you, the times you survived when you absolutely shouldn't have, were all part of something bigger? Listen closely, because you're not watching this by accident. This message was never meant for the public. It was hidden, passed down quietly, secretly, because not everyone can handle it. But for some reason, you were chosen to hear it. That's not a metaphor. Archangel Michael is begging for your attention, and once you hear what he has to say, nothing in your life will ever feel random again. You'll start to see what was always there, but invisible. You'll start to feel things others can't explain. You'll start to know things without knowing why. And most importantly, you'll remember something ancient inside you, a truth buried beneath all the noise of the world. There are whispers that come before miracles. And this video is a whisper. But there sips one rule. Don't tell anyone. You can share this video, yes, you can even rewatch it, but don't try to explain what it means. Because this isn't meant to be understood by the mind, it's meant to be felt by the soul. So if your heart just skipped, if your body is reacting right now, goosebumps, chills, maybe even tears, it means you're one of the few. The ones who remember, even when they can't explain what they're remembering. This is bigger than belief, bigger than religion. It's a message beyond time, meant for your soul's ears, not your mind's logic. And this is the sign you've been waiting for. Archangel Michael is not asking, he's pleading, because time is running out. And this may be your only chance to remember who you really are, and why you're here. The question is, will you listen? It started with a dream. Not the kind you forget by morning. This one clung to the edges of my soul like smoke. I was standing in the middle of an endless field. The sky above was dark, but not empty. Stars were moving, shifting, forming symbols I couldn't understand. Yet somehow I knew they were speaking. And then he appeared. Wings made of light. Not white, not golden, but something beyond color. A presence so strong it made the ground beneath me tremble. And yet, I wasn't afraid. It felt like being held by the universe itself. That was the first time I saw him. Archangel Michael. He didn't speak with words. He didn't have to. I felt the message echo through my chest. It's steps time. I woke up gasping for air. My hands were shaking. I knew deep down, I hadn't just been dreaming. I had been visited. But here's the part that still gives me chills. That same morning, 3 things happened. First, a stranger emailed me out of nowhere, saying I had a vision. You were being guided by a warrior of light. You stir about to awaken. Don't ignore it. Second, when I opened my phone, the time read 4:44, a number I had never noticed before, but now it wouldn't stop appearing. On receipts, license plates, clocks, it was everywhere. And third, my fear vanished. It wasn't instant, and it didn't make life perfect, but the anxiety, the confusion, the heaviness, it all began to lift, slowly, like fog. I started to notice things, feathers in places they shouldn't be, lights flickering when I thought about something spiritual, songs playing on the radio that spoke directly to my heart. I'd wake up crying for reasons I couldn't explain. Not from sadness, but from something deeper, something sacred. I started writing again, feeling again, trusting again. And I realized this wasn't about one dream. It was about remembering who I've always been. And maybe, just maybe, it's the same for you. Because maybe you've had your own moment too, a vivid dream, a near miss, a presence in the room when you were at your lowest. Maybe you brushed it off, but it stayed with you, lingering in the background of your memory. That's not your imagination. That's your awakening. You're not watching this by coincidence. If your heart is pounding, if tears are pushing behind your eyes, it means something deep within you is being unlocked. And when that key turns, everything begins to shift. The people you once resonated with start to fall away. The things that used to comfort you suddenly feel hollow. You begin seeking something you can't explain, but you feel it calling. And the truth is, this isn't my story. It's ours. Because the moment your soul wakes up, everything changes. You start to notice the patterns, the protection, the signs. You realize you've been guided all along, especially during your darkest hours. They weren't set mistakes. They were messages. They were preparing you for this very moment. Right now, this message, this truth. And now, you're starting to see them too. To understand the message, you must understand the messenger. Archangel Michael is not just a figure from religion. He's not confined to a statue, a painting, or a single belief system. His presence echoes through time, across continents, across cultures, across sacred texts. He is the guardian, the warrior, the one who stands between light and chaos. In the Bible, he's the leader of the heavenly armies, casting down darkness and protecting the innocent. In ancient Jewish tradition, he is the great prince who stands watch over the children of the light. In Islam, he's known as Michael, an angel of mercy who brings nourishment to humanity, physically and spiritually. And in mystical teachings, he is the bridge between divine will and human awakening. But beyond all the titles is a presence, a frequency. And if you've ever felt a sudden burst of strength, in a moment of weakness, a calm during your storm, or protection when no one was around, you may have already felt him. Michael is just an angel. He's a force. He is the energy that shows up when you finally decide to stand up for yourself. He's the fire behind the words, enough. He's the light that slices through fear when you've been paralyzed for far too long. He doesn't appear in glitter and wings for everyone. Sometimes he shows up in the exact words someone says to you at the perfect moment. In the friend who reached out when you were at your lowest. In the strength that rose up inside you when you didn't think you had any left. Some people see him in dreams. Others sense him in moments of prayer, meditation, or complete surrender. He arrives when we stop pretending we're okay. When we cry out not for attention, but for truth. That's when he answers. Not with noise, but with clarity. He doesn't always give instructions. Sometimes he simply brings you back to yourself, because you already know what you must do. You've always known, but fear clouded your vision. Michael clears that fog. And here's something few people know. He doesn't come to everyone, not because he plays favorites, but because not everyone is ready. His presence is intense. It demands truth. It shakes the illusions off your soul like dust. You're not here because you read his name. You're here because he's called you, pulled you here. Because something is shifting. And you may be wondering, why you? Why now? Because you're at a crossroads. A decision point in your life that will echo into everything after. Michael doesn't appear when things are easy. He comes when something sacred must be protected. Your soul's purpose. And that purpose is bigger than you think. You're not small. You've just been lied to about who you are, about what you carry, about what you're meant to awaken. The signs, the dreams, the strange timing of this video, all of it is evidence. Not that you're crazy, but that you're being guided, protected, prepared. Because Archangel Michael is not a myth. He is not just a symbol. He is real. And once you feel him, really feel him, you can't unknow it. You can't go back to sleep. Because from this moment on, your soul will recognize him everywhere, in symbols, in synchronicities, in the quiet strength rising inside of you. So now that you know who he is, the real question is, why is he calling you? You've probably asked it before. Why me? Why did you have to go through so much pain? Why the heartbreaks, the betrayals, the moments when everything felt like it was falling apart? You thought it was bad luck. That maybe you were just sensitive. Maybe life was just unfair. But what if I told you those moments weren't punishments? What if they were preparation? Because the truth is, those who are called are marked early, marked by the weight of this world, marked by a deeper awareness, marked by experiences that force them to feel more, think more, carry more than others around them. You were born different. You felt things deeper. You asked questions others ignored. You noticed what no one else saw, and that wasn't weakness. It was a sign, a divine fingerprint on your soul. Archangel Michael chooses warriors, not victims, and warriors aren't made in comfort. They're forged in fire. Every tear you cried, it softened your heart. Every betrayal, it sharpened your intuition. Every fall, it taught you how to rise without waiting for anyone to catch you. And if you're honest, you've always known there was something off about the way most people live. The pretending, the performing, the emptiness. You couldn't numb yourself like they did. You couldn't fake it. That's because you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to wake up. And now look at you. You're here, hearing this, feeling this, resonating in a way you can't even fully explain. That SEP's not coincidence. That SEP's confirmation. Michael doesn't call the comfortable. He calls the cracked open. The ones who've lost enough to know what really matters. The ones who have stared into the darkness and somehow still believe there's light. You've been through what you've been through. Because your soul volunteered for something higher. You are not weak. You are chosen. Chosen doesn't mean better. It means ready. It means the time has come to remember, to reclaim, to rise. And maybe you've tried to silence it, to stuff down your gifts, to hide your sensitivity, your visions, your empathy, because they made you different. But they didn't make you different. They made you prepared. You are the bridge between worlds, between reason and intuition, between logic and love, between what is and what's possible. And everything you've lived through, it's been building the inner strength needed for this next chapter. One you're not meant to walk alone. Archangel Michael is here now because your soul has reached readiness, not perfection. Readiness. You don't need a title. You don't need permission. You don't need a plan. You only need the willingness to listen and to feel the truth that's already rising in your chest. You are not broken. You are becoming. And this moment, this exact moment, is sacred. It's a line in the sand, the place where your past transforms into power, where your pain turns into purpose. You've always known, even if you couldn't say how. And now everything is aligning to remind you. Even the loneliness was a sign. It kept you separate, so you wouldn't forget who you are by blending in. Even the silence was a gift. It trained you to hear whispers others ignore. Even the ache in your heart was prophecy. You were marked for this, and the moment has come. There's something almost all chosen ones go through. Doubt. Not the simple kind, like second-guessing a decision, but deep, soul-shaking doubt. The kind that makes you question your entire path. Your worth, your sanity. You probably felt it. Maybe even now. The voice in your head that says, "Who am I to think I've been chosen? This is all in my head. I step making it up. If I really had a purpose, wouldn't set my life look different by now?" That voice isn't yours. It's fear, dressed as logic. And the more spiritually awake you become, the louder fear tends to get, because the closer you get to truth, the more resistance rises up to pull you back into forgetfulness. But here sits the paradox. The doubt is proof, because real purpose doesn't feel like glory. It feels like pressure. It feels like loneliness. It feels like being cracked open from the inside out, until only your soul remains. You question it, because it seeps real. You doubt it because it matters. The ones who are not chosen, they never ask those questions. They move through life without ever wondering if there's something more. But you can't unsee it. You can't stop searching, even when you want to, even when it hurts. That's because your soul remembers. And when the soul remembers, but the mind hasn't caught up yet, it feels like doubt, like confusion, like not belonging. But I want you to hear this clearly. You are not confused. You are awakening. And in the early stages of that awakening, everything will try to make you forget. You'll have people dismiss you. You'll have moments where the signs disappear. You'll doubt your own experiences, your own feelings. But Archangel Michael isn't calling you because you're fearless. He's calling you because you're willing. And willingness is the birthplace of miracles. He doesn't need you to be perfect. He needs you to be real, to admit the fear, to acknowledge the mess, to stand in the middle of the uncertainty and still say, I step in here. Every spiritual warrior has felt like a fraud at some point. Every light worker has thought about quitting. Every chosen one has wondered if they made it all up. But you're still here, watching, feeling, resonating. That means you're further along than you think. Doubt is not disqualification. It's SEP's initiation. It's the threshold every soul crosses before stepping fully into their calling. Because stepping into your calling requires leaving behind who you thought you were. And that's terrifying. But it's SEP's also sacred. You are being emptied not because you're lost, but because you're being filled with something greater. This is your sacred unraveling, the stripping away of illusions, the undoing of all the lies you were told about being too sensitive, too emotional, too different. You were never too much. You were just too true. So if you're doubting right now, let it be part of the process. Let it remind you that this path is real. That you're not following a trend, you're following a truth that existed long before you were born. Let it remind you that doubt is a threshold, and right now, you're standing at it. And remember, Archangel Michael doesn't speak to the loudest. He speaks to the most willing, the ones who keep showing up, even when the voice of doubt is screaming. So stand here with your trembling hands and uncertain heart. That SEP's all he needs. And it SEP's more than enough. He's been asking for a sign. Maybe not out loud. Maybe only in the quietest part of your soul. But you SEP whispered it. Please. Just give me a sign. And here you are. But let's go deeper, because signs are never just fireworks in the sky. They're woven into the ordinary, hidden in the moments you almost overlook, subtle, repetitive, quiet, but undeniable once you learn how to see. Archangel Michael rarely announces himself with lightning bolts. He shows up in feathers on your path when no birds are around, in repeating numbers like 111, 333, or 444 that seem to chase you, in the stranger's words that pierce straight through to your soul. He speaks in alignment. Ever notice how you were thinking of someone and they suddenly texted you? Or how the perfect message appeared just when you were about to give up? That's not luck. That's calibration. You're being tuned into the divine frequency, and that frequency speaks in synchronicity. The world calls them coincidences. But your soul knows better. Because when your awareness shifts, you stop seeing randomness and start seeing patterns, messages, love notes from the divine. You start realizing that the radio playing your favorite childhood song during a breakdown isn't just nostalgia, it's comfort. That the person you met randomly shares a story nearly identical to yours. That your darkest days were predicted by dreams you ignored. These are not just signs, they are wake-up calls. And the more you listen, the louder they become. But here's the key: signs don't exist to impress you. They exist to guide you, to redirect your path when your human mind is tempted to settle. They remind you of who you are and what you came here to do. And more than that, they remind you that you're never alone. Even in your silence, something has always been listening. Even in your darkest nights, something has always been protecting you. Some signs feel like comfort. Others feel like disruption. Because sometimes the greatest signs are the ones that shake your world, break your routine, push you off the path you were never meant to stay on. Discomfort can be a divine sign too. If something in your life has been falling apart lately, it might not be punishment. It might be redirection. And if everything feels like it's shifting all at once, maybe it's not chaos. Maybe it's calibration. If you're watching this right now, and something inside you is stirring, that's the sign. Not the words, not the video, the feeling. Because signs don't speak to the ears. They speak to the soul. They call you back to yourself, to your power, to your purpose. And if you've been ignoring the nudges, the dreams, the random urges to change direction, this is your moment of recognition. The universe has been whispering. Michael has been guiding. And you've been prepared for this moment, whether you realize it or not. You've walked through fire. You've questioned your path. You've survived things you never talk about. And still, here you are. Still open. Still seeking. Still hoping. That's the real sign. That your spirit didn't give up. That your heart still wants to believe. Because belief is the doorway. Not blind faith, but remembered truth. And once you start recognizing the signs, you'll see them everywhere. They've been there all along. You were just waiting for permission to believe them. So let this be it. The permission, the confirmation, the unmistakable, soul-deep knowing that what you've been feeling is real. The sign you've been waiting for is you. You've probably felt the urge to share what you've been feeling, to tell someone about the signs, the dreams, the moments that felt too real to ignore. But every time you tried, something stopped you. Maybe it was fear of being judged. Maybe it was the blank look on their face. Or maybe it was that sudden wave of doubt that made you question everything you were about to say. That step's not random. Some truths are too sacred to be spoken out loud, not because they're not real, but because they're alive. And when something sacred is exposed too soon, to someone who can't hold it, it can lose its power. Archangel Michael doesn't ask for silence because of shame. He asks for silence because of protection. Because not everyone is meant to understand what you're going through. And that's okay. You're not here to convince the world. You're here to remember you. When seeds are planted, they're buried, covered, hidden in the dark. Not because they're dead, but because they're preparing to grow. Your awakening is the same. If you expose it too early, if you try to explain it to those who've never felt it, it might get crushed. Not intentionally, but people fear what they don't understand. And sometimes, that fear comes out as mockery, dismissal, doubt. So if you've been silent, trust that silence. It's sacred. It's holy. You're not being quiet because you're confused. You're being quiet because something powerful is unfolding within you. And this part, it sets not for them. It sets for you. We live in a world obsessed with sharing, with explaining, with proving ourselves. But spiritual truth doesn't work like that. Spiritual truth protects itself. It finds the ones who are ready, just like this message found you. So don't worry if no one around you gets it. Don't worry if you felt alone in your experiences. That's not a mistake. That's spiritual insulation. It's the universe preserving the purity of your path until it's time to shine. And your time is coming. But right now, this part is still in the cocoon. You stir not hiding. You stir transforming. The butterfly never apologizes for disappearing. It trusts the silence. It trusts the dark. Because it knows what it's becoming. So if your friends don't get it, bless them and let go. If your family can't see it, love them from a distance. If your mind tries to talk you out of it, come back to your knowing. Because this journey isn't about being loud. It's about being aligned. And Archangel Michael isn't sending you to the crowd. He's sending you to your calling. You'll know when it's time to speak. When the fruit is ripe. When your light no longer needs to be hidden. But for now, honor the sacred silence. Keep it close. Let it grow in the stillness. Let it echo inside you until it becomes unshakable. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to feel the truth of who you are. And one day when someone looks at you with wonder in their eyes, when they feel your presence and say, "There's something different about you," you'll know. You didn't instead explain it. You embodied it. You became it. You are not crazy. You are not making this up. You are not alone. You are being protected. Because what's happening to you is holy. So don't rush to explain it. Just trust it. If Archangel Michael could sit across from you right now, look you in the eyes and place his hand on your heart, this is what he would say. I said, never left you. You don't remember the beginning, but I do. I was there when your soul agreed to come here. I was there when you chose this path. Not because it was easy, but because it was sacred. I've watched you fall. I've watched you break. And I've watched you rise again and again, when no one else saw the weight you were carrying. You think you see her alone because the world has been loud. But I see her been whispering, through signs, through dreams, through that voice inside that told you to keep going, even when you didn't know why. I didn't choose you because you stir perfect. I chose you because you stir real. You feel everything deeply because you were made for depth. You hurt so much because you came here to heal. You've been misunderstood because your truth is ahead of its time. Don't hide it anymore. There is a reason you never fit in. A reason you couldn't stay asleep like the others. A reason the path kept calling you back. No matter how far you strayed, you are not broken. You are being broken open. So your light can get out. So your truth can be felt. So your soul can breathe again. You don't need to be stronger. You already are. What you need is to stop pretending you're not. Everything you've been through has not been for nothing. It has shaped you, forged you, prepared you. Now it's time to remember. You are the light in the room. The protector of energy. The one who brings stillness into chaos. You don't have to save the world, but you do have to stand in your truth. Because when you do, everything around you begins to shift. The people who are meant for you will find you. The path that is meant for you will unfold. The strength that lives within you will awaken fully. But it all starts with one thing: acceptance. Not the acceptance from others, but from you, of you. I am not speaking to your mind. I am speaking to your soul, and your soul remembers me. You knew this message was coming. You felt it in the quiet. You dreamed it before it arrived. So please don't brush this off. Don't minimize what you feeling right now. Let it move through you. Let it open you. Let it call you back. Because we don't have forever. And the world needs what only you can bring. Not later. Not when you feel ready. Now. You are the miracle you've been waiting for. And it's time to rise. You stir not being asked to change the world. You stir being asked to change your presence within it. Be the one who remains kind when the world turns cruel. Be the one who prays for others in silence. Be the one who trusts the unseen. Even when the scene is falling apart, I will walk beside you. I will stand before you. I will protect the path under your feet, as long as your heart stays open to what's real. So rise not with noise, but with purpose. Rise without the need for applause. Rise because your soul is done hiding. You are the message. You are the miracle. You are the moment we've been waiting for. You keep waiting for a sign to start, a push, a green light. But here sits the truth most people miss. Your mission has already begun. It didn't start with this video. It didn't start with the dream, or the number, or the moment you felt called. It started the very first time you asked, "Is there more than this?" That question cracked the door open. And everything since then has been leading you here. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need to wait until you're more healed, more qualified, or more confident. You need to trust that the mission isn't some grand task waiting for you out there. It starts right here. It's in the way you speak to the person who's hurting. It's in the energy you bring into a room. It's in your ability to stand in your truth when it would be easier to blend in. Your presence is the mission. The shift that happens when you choose love over fear. That's the mission. The moment you decide not to gossip, not to judge, not to shrink, that's the mission. Because every time you choose alignment over ego, you activate something sacred. Your light triggers others to awaken. Your courage creates space for others to rise. You don't have to preach. You don't have to push. You just have to be. And that being is what changes the world. Archangel Michael didn't choose you because of what you do. He chose you because of what you are. What you carry. What you remember deep inside. Even when you forget on the surface. You're not just here to wake up. You're here to stay awake when it's hard, when it's lonely, when no one else understands. That is your power. That is your purpose. So stop waiting. Stop stalling. Stop telling yourself that you're not ready. Because ready isn't a feeling. It sets a choice. And the moment you choose to believe that your mission has already begun, your reality will catch up. You're not watching this at the start of your journey. You're still watching it mid-flight. The only thing left now is to stop looking down and fly. You've seen too much now. Felt too much. Something inside you has shifted. And it's not going back. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unknow what you now feel in your bones. You've crossed a line, a sacred threshold. And from this point on, everything changes. You'll see the world differently. People will sound different. The noise will feel louder. But so will the truth underneath it all. Because now you know. You're not lost. You're chosen. You're not broken. You're awakening. You're not late. You're right on time. And every step forward from here will either honor that knowing or ignore it. But you can forget it, because it's in your blood now. In your breath, in your spirit. You were born for this. You are part of something ancient, something holy, something rising. So breathe it in. Let it burn away everything that was never you. Let it clear the path you were always meant to walk. And when you're ready, come back. Watch this again. Share it with someone who's ready, quietly, without needing to explain. Because those who are meant to feel it, will feel it. And if this woke something in you, subscribe, like, and keep this energy moving. Your light is needed here,